Good morning, everybody. Look at those beautiful golden rays. Gas is down to 408. Dropped the other day. That's exciting. Now we can afford one more stick of gum. And how are you? Many of you are probably still sleeping, so you won't be here. Some of you are getting up to go to church or temple or wherever you go. Or you're not going anywhere. You're just sleeping in on this beautiful Sunday. It's 64 degrees and it is, good morning, 6 questions. Good morning, Bill. Or golf. Yes, you're getting up for golf. What a day for golf. If I could play golf, I'd be getting up and going to play golf. Well, except that I gotta clean my windshield. Except that I'm heading into CWI, which is my fun thing to do. Comes but once a year, and you know, we all see each other and we go, oh man, it seems just like yesterday we saw you, but it was last year, and oh yeah. And it does. It goes by very quickly when it's here, right? It's because it's just action-packed. There's no downtime. It's from one thing to the other right away. You have very little time to sit around and collect dust. So they pack it full of things. You will not be bored when you come to CWI at all. And you know what I love about it is you get to not just see, but actually interact with historians who you probably admire and know, and you've read their books, and everybody's very down to earth. You know, there's no egos. I've never seen that nonsense. It's just nice. Everybody is having fun, and I've met a few patrons yesterday and the day before, and enjoyed talking with them. And we brought some t-shirts with us to just kind of hand out. So if you're there and you want a t-shirt, now's your chance. Let's see. Good morning, Barbara. How are you? Matt's at the at CWI, and we've seen him. He's hung out up in the room with us, and we've had some meals together. And it's always nice to see people you know, but it's nice to meet people you don't know, and maybe you get to know them. We had 5 interviews yesterday, I think. We got 2 today, and we're going to do some man on the street stuff. There's Donald. I met Donald. Matt, thanks for the shirts and watch your record. You're very welcome, Donald. Oh, $99.99. Thank you very much, sir. Mucho apreciado. Thank you. That's like gas for a couple of weeks. Oh, sorry, it's two tanked. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thaddeus Janik. Thaddeus, hello. And Eric W, good morning. What is that? Zeth the Vile, good morning. And yeah. So, Donald, since you're in the chat here and you're at CWI, why don't you tell everybody your thoughts on CWI? I think you've been there before, but what is it that you like about it? And I'm sorry, I got this wiper fluid that I don't usually use, and all it does is smear. It doesn't actually clean. It's very annoying. So I keep trying to overuse it so I can go through it quickly and get the good stuff. But it's a very beautiful view when it's not catching the sunlight. Matt, thank you very much. I will grab myself a coffee. Actually, I do need to... What time does Bantam open? I need to get there get a bag of Little Ground Top. Babber says she needs new wipers. Keep forgetting until the rain, of course. Yeah, no, my wipers are good. I replaced them not too long ago. Sixth question says, yesterday I was able to say hello to Rich Connon, Zach Fry, Dana Schoaf, and Melissa Wynn. Just standing outside the entrance. CWI is awesome. Everyone is a student there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full. Come by today and say hi in the room. And we got 2 interviews today. And then we're doing like man on the street, I think. Francis, good morning. I'm surprised how many people are up this early. Zedwed says, so bro is just ignoring a $100 donation. No. I acknowledged it. Bro. Thanks for tuning in late and assuming you know what happened. Eric says, waking up to some Little Ground Top in the Smoky Mountains this morning. That sounds picturesque. We should come down to the Smoky Mountains and do a Little Ground Top commercial. Beautiful shots of the misty morning, mountain hollows and stuff. Daily Dose of James. So who was more inspirational, Harambe or Emma? Okay, that's stupid. Donald says, getting to meet the who's who of Civil War scholars, and everybody's approachable and friendly and interesting topics. Yeah, the topics this year are very interesting. When we were trying to decide who to invite for the interviews, I said to Dave, I just want to do topics that aren't done all the time. And so all the topics that we picked are more obscure or maybe newer. So it would be a little different. So there's nothing that we did about the Battle of Gettysburg. And I know like it's not going to get any views because of that, but I don't care. For the people who do view and pay attention, they understand we're trying to really get an understanding of the Civil War, and you can't do that by talking about one battle. So we're at the Civil War Institute, not the Gettysburg Institute. So this is a chance to kind of fly around the horizon a little bit. Chase, good morning from Utah. Good morning to you. Phil says, good morning, have a great day. Thompson, happy Sunday. And Francis says, anything groundbreaking. Are you asking if there's anything groundbreaking, or are you just reiterating what I'm saying? Either way, has there been anything groundbreaking? I would say groundbreaking in the sense that these are subjects that are touched on, but for example, we did an interview yesterday with Jonathan Jones that I really enjoyed about drugs, opium addictions, called opium slavery, and let me roll up the window here. And it's we talked about how the soldiers got hooked on opiates and morphine and all this stuff, laudanum, and just how easy it was to get drugs like that. You could go down to the corner store and get them, and there was really no regulation over prescribing them. And also we talked about drug treatment programs and how do you get people off these drugs. We talked about how society treated them. A very interesting point that he made that I did not know about was, heroin comes on the scene in the late 1800s. I think he said 1890s, might have been 1880s. When people started using that, the older generation looked down on them and said, Our morphine users, those were real drug addicts. You heroin people, that's just dirty. And I thought that was very interesting because we kind of do that today. The opium addict or the opiate addict today meets with more sympathy, I think, or empathy, because oftentimes they become addicted because a doctor prescribed it to them. And the way the regulations are now, you can only be prescribed these things so many times. And so I've known people who got hooked through legitimate means, and when the law says you got to stop, you can't stop. The pain is still there, and this is the only thing that gets you off it, or that helps you with the pain. But you're also hooked now. And so I've known people who had a buddy who sold pills and he got them that way. Or I know people who were like, well, heroin's cheaper and it does the same thing. So then they get hooked on heroin. And it's very sad, and it's all evil. And it's not the user, it's the people that put it out there that are evil. And so, we feel bad for them. But then we look at the meth head and we go, oh, they're so disgusting. Oh, they're so dirty. Look at what they're doing to themselves. And they're zombies. They're walking around like zombies. And while that may be how people feel, it's just interesting to me that, what used to be the dirty drug user, which was the heroin addict, in my recollection, now is the one that is allowed to get sympathy. But not the meth head. And I think it's all disgusting and sad, but I don't look down on the user, because a lot of them, especially the opiate people, like they didn't mean to get into it. They weren't doing it recreationally and they got hooked. Like, they were doing it legitimately because they were in pain, and a doctor who we're supposed to trust prescribed it. So I thought that was a very interesting conversation, and I like that there's a whole, there haven't been, I'm certainly no expert on the study of drug addiction in the Civil War. I'm sure there have been books before, but I like that there's a new one coming out. And so that was very interesting. Nicole Moore on last night, and Nicole was with me on a panel last year at CWI. We were talking about, what the hell were we talking about? Doing Civil War history in public, I think is what it was. And so I had her on last night, and we were supposed to talk about what her talk is going to be about today, which is why she got into her area of study, which is civil rights related, Black history related. And we ended up just talking about what the deal is with race stuff today. And I really enjoyed it. We went over an hour. We try to keep these to 20 minutes or so, but with that one and the drug one, we went over an hour. We talked about a lot of stuff, and I tried to I'm always like the guy that tries to figure out what the problem is, so I hear gripes about whatever it is. I don't give a shit what it is. Whatever, somebody's like, oh, I got this problem. Okay, well, what do you want to do? What would be the right end result for you to feel satisfied? So I was trying to find that answer, but I really just enjoyed the conversation because, race is not a thing that you can comfortably talk about without somebody losing their mind after 15 minutes. And neither one of us lost our mind. We just sat and talked and listened, and joked around a little bit, and I really enjoyed that conversation. I'm sure most of you won't, but no, I'm sure a lot of you will actually, but there will be some people who are not going to like it, but I did. So I'm looking forward to today. We're talking with Keith Bohannon today, and who else is on the schedule? One other person is on the schedule. I don't remember. And then we're going to try to go do some man on the street stuff and just talk to attendees and all of that stuff. All of that stuff. Matt Gillespie's going on the 5th Corps tour. Yeah, that's the other thing. So when you come to CWI, like, it's not just in the lecture halls and the ballroom and stuff. Like a lot of these things, there's an inside and outside set of programs. And so today, well, they did tours yesterday too. So there's tours. I don't know where they're all going this year, but they're not all Gettysburg. Like, some will go to Antietam or something like that. I know they've done that before. So it's a very comprehensive weekend, and it's a lot of fun. 6 Questions says, you should have him on the show for a longer episode. It is a fascinating, heartbreaking subject. Jonathan, you're talking about? Yeah, at the end of it, I said, we got to cut this short, but, well, it wasn't short, but I said, we have to end this now, but I want you to come back and talk more in depth about this in studio. So, and he's from Chantilly, Virginia, so it's not very far away, so he can come up on a Saturday or something, and we can do that. So we're going to set that up for sure. Chris Jensen said, it's amazing how Southerners still swear blind that the ACW was fought for states' rights of secession. I look at the Lincoln Douglas debates, they were all on the question of slavery. It is amazing how in the United States of America, and we do this to this day, we let the vanquished tell the history. Except in the case of maybe World War II. Although there's a little tinge of that, apologizing to Japan for nuking them. Like, it was a war, I never understood that, but okay, whatever. We did it. Yeah, like, I just find it so odd, especially that we allow quote unquote fellow Americans to write the history of the war that they caused because they couldn't be human and come to the negotiating table and finally admit that, slavery was something that enlightened people do not believe is good. They couldn't do that. They would rather pull the country apart and kill their own people, as well as a bunch of Yankees, but let their own people die and suffer. And yeah, I don't understand it. I think it's because they want to be proud that they had an ancestor who fought in this major historical event, but they don't want to think that he might have been doing it to continue to subjugate an entire race of people, even if he could never afford to own a slave. And but also, I believe that they've been fed a bunch of bullshit in their upbringing and in their schools with the UDC textbooks and everything. And by the way, we had that shit up north, and like that those ideas just got into everything, no matter where you were in the country. So yeah, I find it very odd that we're that type of country. I understand reconciliation and all that other stuff, but you don't let the enemy lie about their actions and you in the name of reconciliation. But the North was always moving forward. The North was, the United States, I should say, was always moving forward, looking to the future. What's next? How can we make these things better? And the South did not want to progress in time. And to me, that's what it is. Like, it's It's a bunch of rich people who realized they were rich because of the way the system is, and the system needed slaves in order for that to happen. So they got the poor people, because I mean, like, let's face it, like, it's just like today. Who owns the media today? Rich people. Who gets the messaging out there today? Rich people. So and then who gets riled up and gets killed because of what the rich people do? It's the poor people. It's the middle class people. The people who buy into the storyline, and then they think that they're going off and doing the Lord's work fighting a war, and then they get killed. And it's very sad. It's very tragic, and every generation falls for it. And it's as tale as old as time. It's never going to change, and it's a real shame. Chris, yeah, okay. So Chris says also slavery and its continuation was the only issue, even though the Emancipation Proclamation was only issued after the Battle of Antietam. Well, and we were talking about the Emancipation Proclamation yesterday. That was a military tool. It didn't free all the slaves. We had to make that. We had to make that law, and Lincoln, an executive order is not law. So, but it was a tool, and it was a step in the right direction. Framer Mike says, I don't look down on anyone because I'm human and know better. Life, it can be, and it's something else. Yeah, because I'm human and know better. Got it. Life, it can be something else. Yeah, and I always felt bad for addicts because, I've known a few. I lost a relative to heroin addiction, and I know other people who cleaned up and were good people beforehand, but they got hooked. And they're good people before, during, and after, but that drug, it's evil. It takes over your brain, and you don't become you. And some people pass away, and others fix it. But either way, it's tough, and it's very hard on the families to see their loved one captured by this substance. And yeah, I can't look down on them. I also feel kind of a kinship with them because I dealt with depression, and while I'm glad I didn't have any addictions aside from nicotine, um, uh, the depression, a lot of the things that deep depression make you do, and feel about yourself and all that stuff. When I hear alcoholics or addicts talking about how their life is and how their thinking goes, I'm like, well, that reminds me of when I was depressed, and you know, and it's a monkey on your back. Like you can't just turn it off. And so I feel very bad for them and everything. Now, that doesn't excuse certain behaviors that people do, like stealing from loved ones and everything like that. Like I understand that's why you're doing it, but that's where my sense of right and wrong is. It's very hard for me to ignore that, and yeah, don't like that at all. Bill says, crazy to think that the last son of a Civil War veteran, Bill Poole, passed away last week. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Slavery was bad. Grant doesn't know that slavery was bad. Yeah, Grant, slavery was bad. Matt Gillespie says, many don't like being on the wrong side of history. That's true. That's true. Chris Jensen said, where are you? I've never seen Gettysburg for real. It would be great to see Seminary Ridge and Little Round Top. Well, I will take you around there. We're going to shoot some more video. So I will try to remember your name, Chris Jensen, and when we do them, I'll be like, this is for Chris Jensen. This is Little Round Top, and what did you say, Seminary Ridge? Well, Seminary Ridge is basically right in front of us, but you can't see it because of the trees. I'm at Gettysburg College now, and let's see here, like the railroad cut is over that way. The seminary itself is over that way. So that's kind of where we are. Sheeds' Woods is over there, where like Cutler's Brigade went in after getting taking a few. You know what I'm saying? You know, they went back into those woods there. And let's see, what else can I show you that is hidden by trees? That's about it. But what we'll do is we'll do what I did yesterday, and we will walk into. I forgot my hat. Oh, here it is. We'll walk into CWI together as a team. Let me just gather my stuff here. What do I want to bring? Yeah. All right, let's see. I just unplugged from the stereo system. Can you hear me still? That's the important thing. I mean, Jesus. Imagine if you couldn't hear. All right, so this is the campus, Gettysburg College. It's a very nice campus, small college, but nice. Tell you what, though, it is a tiring weekend. I used to do all 5 days of CWI, but the last few days, nobody's here. Everybody's out on the field. And so we would stay and record other interviews. But, you know, we would put them out, but they wouldn't gain much traction. I mean, even among the listeners, like I wouldn't really hear much from the listeners, the regular listeners that would listen to them. I wouldn't hear, oh, I really love the CWI stuff. So I was like, all right, well, why go through all this effort for no juice, no interest? So we're going to scale it down. We're not going to do as many recordings. We're going to do, a handful of interviews, and we're going to do video. Because at first they were audio only. We didn't have the video set up, so. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse this morning. All the partying we've been doing here at CWI. So this is the, I think they call it the Cub building, Cub, C-U-B. And the main ballroom is in here, and this is where like the big talks are. But then they break off and have smaller lecture halls where somebody goes in and does their thing. And then these signs are here because the buses come and pick people up and drop them off for tours. And across the way is the dining hall. We'll cross over here. But it is it is fun and tiring, and it's just very long days. You know, we get up very early, come in, set up, and then we're pretty good. You know, we're going nonstop. I love it because it like you actually feel like you're doing something with your day. And so I love doing all this. My body, on the other hand, is like, dude, you're too old for all of this. Do less of it. And I don't know. I'm starting to listen to it. All right, now that the sun is out of my eyes because I'm in the shade, I can see your comments and then wrap up here going into breakfast. All right, let's see. What's the conversation here now? Grant says, "Is all the gang going to this event?" No, I had to limit the amount of people in my entourage this year. So let me sit down here. So I had to limit it to skilled people like camera guys and stuff like that. Which is, I miss the gang because having everybody around was fun, especially during the interviews, because we would let everybody join in. But Stephen Taft and Tad did a good job yesterday, and Eric Houston did a good job jumping in. So let's see.
When I worked for a museum in Petersburg, 1 year they paid for it.
Are they using little ground top in the dining hall, Barbara? That is a great question. It would be wise. See, here's the thing. No. That's the short answer. Grant says, "Are you wearing your fedora this time?" I don't have a fedora. Do I have a fedora? Oh, I used to have a fedora. I don't wear it anymore. I'm wearing this. All right, everyone wish Matt a happy 50th birthday for this coming week. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Grant. Grant, why don't you share with everybody, what are your Mattmas plans? What do you and your family do to celebrate Mattmas? Everybody in the audience, what do you do to celebrate Mattmas? I know some people, like Grant, for example, have a shrine to me in their closet, and he just sits at it and stares and lights candles and chants incantations. But what do you do? Francis says, "Is this expensive to attend?" It is a bit pricey. I think Eric Houston and I were talking about it the other day, and I think he said, like, if you went all in, you're going to be looking at 1,000 or so, 1,100, something like that. But that's getting you. They put you in a dorm room. You get 3 meals a day, including that, and all the speakers, and if you do the bus trip and all that stuff, and so you get a ton for that. Honestly, I think it should be a little more than that, because what you get here is like, top class, high class, top of the line, state of the art, space age technology. Eric Houston on his way. All right, sir. All right. Readout says you're up too early for a Sunday. That's okay. I'm up too early for a Sunday as well. Darn headache. Oh, yeah, I had one too. Please let the coffee soothe or make me forget it. Coffee doesn't soothe me. I have to, it makes my headache worse, so I have to actually take something, which I did. Bill, thank you. I will have a good day. You too. Eric's on his way. Grant says, "I hope Eric behaves himself, or we will have to get Bethany." Have a great day, Matt. Wish I could attend. I wish you all too. I wish you could too. I wish all you guys could come and see this. It's a lot of fun, and I think, you got another year. I say, save your pennies. Make sure that you come next year. Good morning, gentlemen. Oh, look at that! You're watching it. Yeah, and then we'll we'll all see each other next year. You know what? I honestly, I would love it if you guys did that. Save your pennies and come to CWI next year, and we'll do something. We'll all get together and do something. But you got to let me know, and if there's like a bunch of you, we'll figure out something to do. I think that would be really cool. And I think you get a discount if you mention address in Gettysburg. So there's that. So I'm going to eat. What do you think of that? The profits go to so CWI, Civil War Institute at Gettysburg College, is a nonprofit. So it goes to them. And, you know, from what I understand, the profit isn't huge. And this is the problem with a lot of nonprofits, is they don't actually understand. They can profit, you just can't keep it. So, like, you can make a lot of money, but a lot of them don't, so they keep things cheap. And also, you know, you can price yourself out of the market, so you gotta be careful. But you know, the most of the attendants are retired, and they have you know, income or disposable income, and they're able to do it. They've got the time, they've got the money, and so they're able to do these things. Young whippersnappers such as myself might have a different problem, or might have a different situation there, and it won't be so easy to do. But it is possible. It is possible. And like I said yesterday, if you have a young adult in your family, I guess even a kid, and you want to come along with them and whatever, you know, maybe you make it a birthday and Christmas present, and you get them tickets to come here. There's Eric Houston, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's always said, what does that weirdo look like? Well, there you go. Yeah. There you go. All right, well, we're going to go in and eat. Grant says, the whole environment there seems so peaceful. Small town life looks good. It is, Grant. It's very nice.
There's an easy way to find out what it's like.
That's right, Grant. There's an easy way. Just get on a plane for 15 hours and come over.
Or a rowboat.
And start rowing. Right. Row your way over.
Yeah.
You'll build up your shoulder muscles and your back muscles.
Maybe canoe if you prefer canoe.
Or a canoe. That's how you do it, Grant. No, it is. It's a very, I mean, this part of town especially, because the neighborhood that surrounds this is all like the hoity-toity of town. So it's
all the
the professors,
professors.
the Mary Ann, staff, you know, rich people. And they keep this part of town very nice. But it is mostly a very peaceful town, except for when there's shootings or stabbings. But that's rare. That's rare. And it is just nice to come and, you know, go around town and enjoy the peace and quiet, except at noon on Saturdays when Antifa is screaming. But then you have the rest of Saturday. I mean, it's mostly nice.
Just don't come during the pagan Hells Angels rally that happens.
Right, don't do that either.
Week of July.
Yeah, stay away from the pagans and the Hells Angels. And then there's also the child sacrifice week in December. Yeah, that's weird. It's this weird thing, and only in Gettysburg are you allowed to do it. Parents who are sick of their kids get to throw them. It's terrible.
My child sacrifice happens about the second week of August when I bring my daughter.
When you bring her to college. Yeah. All right, let's see. That's it. Looks like great weather today. Yeah, it's a beautiful day today. It's been a very nice weekend, weather-wise. It's, 65-ish right now?
It's a very nice morning for sunrise.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, last year I think it was kind of rainy, wasn't it?
No, I've never been here
where it's not like rained all the way, but it was like cloudy and yeah. And this year, yeah, this year, but every year before that, it's just been oppressively hot. This year is like it warms up, but it's not bad. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Okay.
All right, we're going to go in and eat before the line gets bigger, okay? You guys have yourselves a great... There's another patron right there. Now this guy. You're live, so don't say anything you don't want.
This is your chance to say something that you don't want. Good morning.
Good morning's good. Eric helped me do stuff. Yeah, Eric helped me with the interviews. I didn't get usually what I do is I get the books ahead of time from the authors. But for whatever reason, we never asked them to do that for CWI when we book them. Probably because I'll never have the time to prepare everything. The one thing about running this whole operation with ADD is everything is up to the last minute, right? And so the preparation that I do for the interviews is literally right before the person comes in the room. And Eric was kind enough to do some one-sheets for me with some information about the author and the book, and I pretty much read that, and then I just have an idea of like the area that we're in with the author, and then we just talk, and I'm curious, so I come up with the questions. I don't think I've read any of the questions that Eric wrote, but that's not because they were bad questions. Yeah, it was just a good way to, yeah, and so that's what, to answer your question, that's what Eric was doing to help. But you're also a paying attendee. Yeah. So Eric's like, I'll help you, but I'm also paying. I was like, okay. I don't get the money, but that's nice. So that's it. All right, guys, we're going to head in and eat. This is the 5th time I've said it, but this time I mean it. I'm hungry. You have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Except in Australia, this is actually the middle of the work week because everything's backwards in Australia. So Tuesday and Wednesday is their weekend.
Grant's walking out on his hands.
Yeah, they walk on their hands. Yeah. All right, you guys, I'll talk